What's going on, guys? It's Tom or Top 10 Wrestling, and welcome back to another video. One of my most popular ever videos is where I discuss the day TNA Wrestling died. In that video, I discussed the signing of Hulk Hogan and how it served as a catalyst and how he eventually kind of killed TNA with how he managed it and booked it. And while him signing with TNA was what ultimately led to so many fans giving up on TNA, it was a single event that caused so many people to stop watching TNA and give up on the product. TNA Genesis 2010, the first ever Hulk Hogan led TNA pay-per-view, is what we're going to be discussing today in a retro pay-per-view review. Before we get into it though, make sure you subscribe with notifications on. Only a small percentage of you are subscribed, so if you do enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe. It's free and you can always unsubscribe. Anyways, onto the video.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero Kurt Angle, and you are watching Top 10 Wrestling. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
TNA Genesis was live on January 17th, 2010 from the Impact Zone to an attendance of 1,100. We get a nice video package to open the show with TNA wrestlers talking about how this is what they were born to do. And then Hogan's music hits to open the show and him and Bischoff come out and we see a wide shot of the arena in which something immediately becomes noticeable. Hogan gets in the ring and on the mic and he welcomes the fans to Genesis, which is met with cheers, and then he welcomes them to the brand new Impact Zone, which is met with boos. Hogan talks some more but is interrupted by chants of "We want six sides." Hogan says one thing about six sides: you had it and only got you so far, which gets booed so hard. He calls a six-sided ring a playpen ring. The fans are booing so hard, and Hogan in 1 minute has completely been turned on. Hogan then starts talking about Vince McMahon and says, over here in TNA, we don't say sports entertainment. And Eric Bischoff then says to get used to change because there's a lot more coming, and the fans boo again. And then Hogan says, what you gonna do, Vince McMahon, now that TNA is coming for you, brother? And Hulk, let me tell you, he's not gonna do much. What a disastrous way to open the show, but X Division title match is going to be the opening match of the show, as Amazing Red will be defending the title against a mystery opponent. Ooh, and the mystery opponent is Brian Kendrick, making his TNA debut, who actually gets a very decent pop. I'm a fan of Brian Kendrick, I like him, but I guess this is one of the changes that Hogan promised. More ex-WWE guys, yay! These two guys have contrasting styles. Red is fast-paced and a high flyer, whereas Kendrick is a lot more methodical and technical, and these two styles clash really well. TNA decides to show and acknowledge Brooke Hogan in the front row. Thanks, more of that to come tonight. Red hits a huge kick to Kendrick, who's on the top, and sends him to the floor, and then hits a senton from the top, and the fans are going nuts. Awesome stuff. Kendrick gets back in control and slows it down, but Red gets back into it and is using some really unique and awesome offense. There's numerous near falls and close calls, but in the end, Amazing Red hits the code red and wins and retains the title, and the fans go nuts. I'll give this 3.75 stars, a great open to the show. And so, if the show has opened with this match, how did this show hurt TNA? Well, let's just watch the next match. Before that though, we go backstage where Hogan and Bischoff are talking to Hall, Nash and Six, and Hogan says they have one shot, they need to make it count. Kevin Nash has a match tonight with beer money. He can only choose one of Scott Hall or Six Pack, so they played rock, paper, scissors to decide who Nash's partner is, and it was just really awkward. And next up, Sean Morley is out. Oh God. Sean Morley, if you don't know, is Val Venus. Why is he in TNA in 2010? Who knows? He gets on the mic and I absolutely hate my life. Daniels comes out and my life is a little better at this point. And so it's Morley versus Daniels, and I've talked about this match at length before and it just depresses me to talk about it again. But yeah, this match was a disaster. It was a completely boring match, nothing exciting. It's memorable for the complete wrong reason, which we'll get to. And the two really have no chemistry, because of course they don't. Sean Morley is 40 years old and washed up. What is he doing in TNA? I mean, bless Daniels, he did all he could, and he did have some good moments himself, but it just was not enough to carry the match. The only good moment from this match is when the fans start chanting, "Sit down, Brooke," at Brooke Hogan, which, only good moment of this match. And then Sean Morley wins! He reverses a top rope Rana from Daniels, hits a splash, and gets the pin. The fans are ballistic, and so am I. You have Daniels, who has worked his arse off this company, lose to Val Venus on pay-per-view. Half a star. And yeah, from that match, the show takes a complete turn. Anyway, knockout action up next. Tara looks to regain the title from ODB in a 2 out of 3 falls match after the two have had a bit of a hot potato trading the title back and forth. The match starts off with ODB pulling out some of Tara's extensions, and oh, Tara's angry now. Tara gets in control and ODB finally does get some offense in, but right when she does, Tara gets a quick roll up and wins the first fall. ODB then begins to beat up Tara outside, and Brooke Hogan gets involved again. Please just stay out this show. ODB is dominating Tara now. She does some weird roly-poly pinfall. The match very much slows down. The fans are just dead and deflated after the last match. And she's very much in control, but out of nowhere, Tara gets the Widow's Peak, having not get any offense in for minutes, and wins the match and wins the title. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. Right down the middle, I'll give it 2.5 stars. Tag team action next. Matt Morgan and Hernandez, good lord, are challenging the British Invasion for the tag titles. This match did not click for me. I was never really big on the British Invasion, despite me being British. I do like Doug Williams though, and I like Magnus now as Nick Aldis in NWA, but beyond that, and of course, let's not talk about Rob Terry. And then Matt Morgan and Hernandez, I was especially never big on as a team. It just felt like a dragged out TV match that wasn't a good TV match. And whatever, Matt Morgan and Hernandez win the titles. 1.75 stars. I couldn't care less. Next up, we got more singles action, as is Desmond Wolfe versus the Pope D'Angelo Gennaro. This was a fine match, not great, it was alright though. They did manage to get the crowd into it at some points, which is a big achievement because the crowd has been dead and deflated since the Sean Morley match. Pope goes for the double knees and Wolfe reverses it into a clothesline and gets the win. I'll give it 2.57 stars, just an okay match, but still one of the better matches on the show. But that's also not really saying a lot, is it? I could probably have one of the best matches on this show if I was a part of it, let's be real. Next up, we have more tag team action. It's Nash and Six Pack, who must have won the rock paper scissors game. They're up against Beer Money, who are incredibly over homegrown TNA talent. TNA, whatever you do, please don't make them lose this match. But just another match where the participants have no chemistry. It's another old-timer versus TNA homegrown talent match on this show, and man, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Did you not see how the Morley versus Daniels match went? And you're gonna just do that but in a tag match? Whatever. Towards the end of the match, rock paper scissors loser Scott Hall starts coming down to the ring and distracts Beer Money, and Kevin Nash choke slams Rude and gets a near fall, and I nearly had a heart attack thinking they were about to win. But then Nash and Six are distracted by Hall, who's beating up the fans or something, and then Beer Money capitalize and win. 2 stars. Okay. Abyss is out next. He requested a match earlier in the night, and he's got one with Mr. Anderson, who is making his TNA debut today. It was a cool debut, and Anderson is still on form, and when he's saying his name, he is about to announce himself as Kennedy, but officially announces his name as Anderson. This was a standard match, kind of just felt like a TV match really, and obviously there was no storyline behind it, so there wasn't really much in the way of heat. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either, which is really bad when you realize that for this show, that's kind of a good thing. And Mr. Anderson gets the win with the mic check. He establishes himself as a heel and announces himself as the winner at the end of the match. Good debut, average match. I'll split it down the middle again, 2.5 stars. And now onto the main event of the evening. Can this main event save the show? Definitely not. The show's been dreadful, but it could still be good, as it's Kurt Angle challenging AJ Styles for the TNA World title. And let me tell you that it was good. In fact, it was very good. In fact, it was probably borderline one of the best TNA matches ever, which makes it a real shame it had to be on this show, and it shows how bad that this show was that even this couldn't save it. These guys went all out. It was a slow build and they managed to get the fans into it, which is a big achievement. There was one scary moment where AJ does a senton over the top to the outside and lands on Kurt Angle's back. Lots of drama, many near falls, and some great action from these guys, which is obviously to be expected. They're two of the best of all time. Ric Flair also comes down to ring to watch the match. What could he be doing here? Well, he's here to cause trouble, because Angle gets the ankle lock in deep, but Ric Flair pulls the ref out, and as he does, AJ taps out. But since the ref can't see it and is down, Angle don't win. Angle chases Flair around, but AJ takes Angle down. Flair gives AJ the title belt. AJ hits Kurt with it. The ref gets in and counts the 3 for AJ. I'm going to give it 4.25 stars. I knock off a quarter star due to the finish, and because hindsight is 2020 and we all know how the Flair Styles partnership goes. That's it for this show. It's really hard to rate this show because the opening match was good and the closing match was very good. But other than that, everything kind of stunk or was very average. But those two matches kind of bring it up a tiny bit. I'm going to give it 2 stars overall. That's my rating for the show, especially because the crowd was just so dead and completely turned their back on the show after that Hogan promo and after the Morley match. Like, the fact that Hogan just came in and just in one promo changed the Impact Zone, made the fans turn on him, and just completely crapped on TNA's history and buried the company. It was horrible. Like I said, 2 stars. Remind me to never watch this show again, other than the opening and main event. I'll watch those 2. If you're wanting to watch this show, those are the only 2 matches you should seek out. That's it. But yeah, that's it for me. Leave a like, check out my podcast, new channel that I'm starting up. Subscribe to that, by the way. Definitely want to, because there's so much stuff coming up on that. Podcast, Patreon, Twitter, Instagram, all linked down below. Subscribe, those notifications on. I can't speak. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you all soon. Goodbye, and keep on rolling.